You have to finish episode 3 of the creative process.
I know.
It's been a while since episode 2. Your audience are waiting.
It's coming after this Zelda session.
You know you may have to do a long Tears of a Kingdom review, right?
Oh no. Episodes 1 and 2 of the creative process were about introducing ourselves and what we do, and how we start to do what we do and stay motivated. 2 big breaks, including one after the Zelda charity streams, are the reason episode 3 has been delayed. But was it worth the wait? Was it rewarding? Well, we'll find out as I, Viddy, and 7 other creative personas talk about what the reward or bribe is for completing a creative task. The gold at the end of the rainbow, perhaps. Welcome, one and all, to episode 3 of the creative process.
Do I give myself rewards or bribe myself? Oh, life would be better if I gave myself more rewards. No, this is pain. It's not pain because you can walk away and just turn it all off and forget about the internet for weeks at a time. It's perfectly possible. When I have a good video, I never feel good about it until... That's not true. I've put videos online that I feel brilliant about, that I am proud to have made, to have produced, to have put together, to have thought and captured a sensational feeling. I'm proud, and the self-belief there is real. But those videos are not the ones that the channel picks up. the ones the channel picks up are never the ones you expect. And I've heard other people sort of say this is a likely thing. YouTube doesn't reward the things that you think it will reward. It may do, it may not do. People need to stop thinking of it as YouTube and think of it as people. The hard part is finding people. You find a couple of people and who you need to know what content those people are looking for. And once you've built a community, I can sort of predict which videos will fly and which videos won't. You can get fairly good at it once you've worked out your niche. But I also know that if I exclusively made videos for the niche that I have managed to get, I wouldn't bother. That wouldn't excite me. So you've got to just make videos that you want to make. And then you reward yourself by saying, I only did it because I wanted to. I feel like this is a rubbish answer to your question, but does it make sense? I do eat a lot of ice cream though. I don't know if that completely answers your question.
So Head's reward is a nice cold beer. I don't have a beer can like he does. And this is a beer.
Keeping motivated is one of the hardest things I find with doing any of this type of stuff. Just generally I'm quite difficult at getting motivated to do stuff, because once I'm doing it, I'm having a whale of the time and it's really fun. But getting up to that point is difficult. So I try and remind myself how much fun it is to do these things, and how interesting, for instance, with the interviews, how interesting the stories you get from people you're interviewing and their knowledge and all those type of things. So it's like kind of building that confidence up again. So kind of reflecting on the good parts of what happened, and then like from what you've created before, and then going off of there is probably the only motivation I can really think of to keep me motivated to doing things. So I guess it's like the reward side of things, of the having a fun time doing and making and creating and such. So I don't really bribe myself or give myself a reward at the end of doing a project or anything like that. I guess I give myself a reward of having a break, but sometimes I have a bit too long of a break. Like previously mentioned, I had hardly made any content last year, and I really want to make more because it is fun. So I guess my reward is having a break, but it's also the satisfaction of knowing that I've created something. So the reward process is satisfaction, I guess? I don't know. It's a hard one to answer on that one, sorry.
For this question of how I bribe myself or reward myself, that's really something that I've only done with things I consider to be work. There's the old saying that those who do what they love for a living never really work at all. No, I don't make enough money for this to consider it a job that I do for a living, but what I mean is the process for me is its own reward. Reviewing video games is an excuse to play video games. I do this because I like doing it and I want to do it more, so I motivate myself to keep doing it so that I can get more out of it, which of course leads to me being able to do it more. Does that make sense?
The fun bro saying it can be an accomplishment to press upload or start stream takes me back to the nerves and excitement surrounding the next video or stream that someone and anyone could see and hopefully enjoy. Still, after doing that, something like food, drink, a time at the diner or pub, socializing with friends and family, and finally seeing a film. All good things to unwind with after what can feel like a long creative process.
The question next is, what rewards do you have or bribe yourself with at the end of a session or the creative process? And my answer to that is, I don't really bribe myself. I'm actually pretty motivated and self-motivated to get it done, because what happens at the end of the creative process for me is the end result, the thing that I've been working so hard towards. And so for me, having that final video that looks good and is out there, is reward enough. I don't really say, I can have an ice cream if I do this, or I can allow myself to buy that game, because I'm going to do those things anyway. I'm going to buy that game if I think it's going to be something fun, and then I'll share it with the world on my channel anyway. So to me, the end result, that video, that's what I do. That's where I get excited. When I start working, it's kind of like putting a whole bunch of pieces of shredded paper together, just one piece at a time. And there is some tedium to that, and there's some monotony in that. But when you put it together and you realize that it's a really cool picture, or it's a document that has and says something that you're interested in and you're interested to read it, the fact that I've put everything together to make that whole document, that whole image, that whole picture, to me, that's enough of a reward, and it's something that, again, I'm excited about. A good example of this would be the squishy bits that I did. I did a couple of squishy bits. I've done 3 so far, which are little shorts on my channel that basically just highlight things that I found to be tongue-in-cheek. Firstly, if nobody else found them funny, then that's okay. That doesn't bother me. I would love if somebody else liked it, but it doesn't bother me if they didn't. Secondly, I saw what I put into it, and seeing the finished product, which are usually only about 1 minute to 2 minutes long, makes me really happy, because I know I found it funny, and so even if no one else finds it funny, I get to go back and watch this now finished product with embellished editing and embellished, this, that, or the other. There's an example from Matt's General Store in the Oregon Trail. I make a squishy bit of it, and I use editing to kind of rock him back and forth and make it look like he's sleeping and cut some of the funnier parts of it. And if no one else enjoyed that, I still enjoy going back and watching that little 1-minute video that I made that I'm proud of, and that's good enough for me. So I apologize if the answer here isn't remarkable, but that's what I do. I'm not bribing myself with anything or rewarding myself with anything. I'm very excited to see the end result. That's kind of my reward.
Tiger Chainsaw takes great pleasure in, quote, watching the finished product, end quote, so much like others are saying, the process and seeing it finished is its own reward. Though yes, the editing and producing take time. I like the breaking up of the work here, though I hope I don't get hooked on, hypothetically, an article or video as mentioned here. So, my quick observations based on the answers to question 3 so far. We're looking at rewards such as food, drink, checking in with people, movie buff sessions for project being completed anyway, including the process and doing what's associated, such as getting to play video games. Also, having a break works, but what does all this mean? In fact, this question may have been the hardest to answer for all of us. First of all, let's look at the process of making a video again and being motivated to do so. As we've seen, making videos such as this can be a job or be done with the mindset of it being a job anyway. That of course can affect how one may feel about the tedium, how long it takes to make the content, how overwhelming it is. In fact, sometimes the thought of pressing upload or start streaming could be overwhelming. I guess the concept of this question is mostly drawn from the thoughts of procrastination. For example, I may have a video idea that, again, I really want to make a reality, but I'm like, I can wait. It's not just because of playing games like Zelda, but just because I may not look at the process itself as a reward or think enough of a new video being finished and watching it back sometimes with my audience and just enjoying it. A film takes a long time to make, but if it turns out good and the audience likes it, it's surely a good feeling. Loosely speaking, my rewards are, well, playing a game after working on something as well as catching up on as much of my sub-feed or stream notifications as possible. Sometimes food and a film or TV show can work, but don't forget to spend time with other people who have had to wait for you to finish a project. Overall, I feel like this question and even looking up things for myself personally, such as managing dopamine levels, yeah, we're going there, has been a little rediscovery and motivator to remember that I like talking about games and stuff and I want to share that with you. It's one aspect that gives meaning and fulfillment to the process of making content and other things we do in life. Should I reward myself by playing Zelda? Well, I mostly did forget a moment from how to game differently that was supposed to be in episode 2. Actually, I thought it synced up okay with today's episode. So, oh look, it's a new shrine for me to complete, yay! So what about you? No, the question is not about Zelda, it's about what you reward or bribe yourself with after a creative session. Or if you do. Whether you participate in this collab or not, you can answer that question, as well as talk about everyone's answers mentioned before in the comments section below. Or alternatively, and this is mainly for those of you who took an interest but didn't have time or something, or are, say, in the midst of starting a new channel, you can still message your answers to me and I'll feature them in a more simple extra video. But I, Viddy, and these 7 other creative personas have one more question to answer, which will actually be next week since the Zelda charity stream and the break after that are over.
Thanks once again about the Zelda stream.
I'll be interested in your feedback about this video and the first 2. In fact, audience reactions will be next week's episode. Have a good day or night or whatever it is. Now get out there and be creative.